Hi, I'm Rowena and this is my channel, A Fuller World. Me, my husband and a couple of friends have spent the last few weeks exploring the lochs, hills and glaciers of Scotland and Iceland, and we're slowly making our way south towards some much needed European sun. We hope you continue to join us on our adventures. Good morning from Stockholm in Sweden, so another new country for us. We've started off the morning in the Swedish way with a Fika, which is basically like a cinnamon bun and coffee. I think we'll be doing a lot of those over the next few days. But we haven't got a huge amount of plans for Stockholm. We really just want to stroll around and enjoy the city. We're staying in the old area of Gamlestan, which has been beautiful so far. So we'll just show you around and see what we find. So I think we've decided today is museum day. So we're starting it off with the Vasa Museum, which is built around the Vasa warship behind me. It's a ship that sank in 1628 and it sat at the bottom of the seabed for 333 years before they pulled it up. But it is so well preserved, it is so impressive behind me. So we're going to sort of take a walk around it and have a bit of a look. The salvage mission itself is almost as interesting as the ship. It took them 4 years to lift up the Vasa from the seabed in one piece. So they didn't take it apart and reassemble it. It's all been lifted as one. And they sort of did it in 16 stages, so shallower to shallower water. And then when they eventually got it up, it took them 2 to 3 weeks to actually dry out the ship and get it sort of watertight again. So it must have been a massive effort to do it. It's very, very cool. Alright, so we had planned for the ABBA museum to be museum number 2, but there was a super long line, so we're not going to go there. Instead we're going to come to Selju Hall. Obviously probably not saying that right, but it's a traditional food hall here. And I'm very excited because I'm very hungry. We've been walking around a lot this morning and it'll be great to go try some food.
Better man from back then. Time's changing.
all delicious. We started off with salmon on rye bread, which seems to be everywhere here, like an open sandwich. And then we moved to another restaurant and we had Swedish meatballs with lingonberries and mashed potato, which was absolutely fantastic. And we had some charcuterie as well and some ciders with it. And the ciders were actually delicious. Like you could really actually taste the fruit, the apples in them, as opposed to most cider where it tastes more like alcohol or like a fake taste. Yeah, I would definitely come to one of these food halls and try a few things. It's a beautiful, beautiful lunch. And we're going to keep moving on, see what else Stockholm has to offer. So we're hitting up museum number 2, which is the Nobel Prize Museum. So the Nobel Prize is awarded here in Stockholm every year. And obviously there's a lot of cool history and a lot of cool discoveries in this museum. So we're going to take a look. So of course, one of the most famous Nobel Prize winners is Marie Curie, who won it twice in physics and in chemistry. Obviously one of the powerhouse early women in science. But one of the cool things is they've got a bit of a setup of her stuff here, and they've got a facsimile of her diary. And they can't put the real ones in because they're still radioactive to this day, which I just think is insane. One of my favourite Nobel stories is the exhibit behind me, which is a pair of Aussie blokes, Warren and Marshall, who were really, really suspicious that stomach ulcers were caused by bacteria, but no one believed them. So of course they proved it by downing a bottle of it themselves and making themselves sick, and went on to win the Nobel. But there are a lot of really cool discoveries here, you know, insulin, penicillin, like the chip that goes in digital cameras, so many things that have revolutionised our world sitting in this building. It's very, very cool. Alright, very last stop for the day. We've come up to the Riddarholm Church, which is the last standing medieval church here in Stockholm and the resting place of Swedish kings. But I just really like the architecture. Stockholm's a beautiful, beautiful city. So we have one more cool activity planned before we leave Sweden. So we didn't want to limit our exposure of Sweden just to the capital city of Stockholm. So what we're actually going to do is drive a little bit out of the city, and we're going on a moose safari. So we've been driven about 40 minutes outside of Stockholm. Short hike up to a little plateau where we can overlook the woods and the fields. Been given some binoculars so we can spot these moose. But already really cool. So as we walked up, there was a rune stone. So one of the Viking standing stones in really, really good condition. And then next to it, some of the burial rocks, which really reminded me of the standing stones and clavarcans up in the Highlands of Scotland. So obviously some similarities there, but this is a beautiful spot. We're going to have some dinner and keep a watch out for some deer, some moose and some wild boar.
A small town in a little oasis where my big dreams were gonna take me places. I would make bets with the rising sun and tell him all I'd done. Late night walks into Lindbergh Park, and sometimes I kiss a girl even after dark, and I never had to shout.
Alright, so we had our dinner. It was actually a burger made of moose meat, so it was quite like a lean beef. It was actually really tasty. And then we got filtered coffee and some like rhubarb cake, which was delicious. But now we're heading towards twilight. We're going to go searching for the animals. It's the best time to find them, so fingers crossed for some moose. We found a moose. Guys, it's starting to get dark, so I don't think we're going to spot any more moose now. But that's it, short and sweet. We're out of Sweden tomorrow, so up bright and early and on to the next country, next adventure.